Here's what I think happened. Here, I'm going to give you my impression of what happened. Okay.
Sure.
He got a call from either Insomniac or his agent, or they had some sort of call, and they were like, "So Tony, here's the deal. You're going to start traveling for the game in August, and we're going to have an ad blitz at that time. The game's going to come out in September, so we're going to need you for these dates or whatever." Which is probably what's going to happen. He's going to go and do the rounds and maybe be at comic conventions and whatever to promote the game. And I think that he got that information and then he told us all. And that's what and that's literally what I think happened is he just got off the phone or off a Zoom call and he was just excited and he said it. And he's very experienced in movies and TV where this wouldn't be a big deal, but he has done enough games to know better. If you look at his IMDb. So Dustin, what do you think about this situation? First of all, do you believe that he would be in the know? And do you believe that it will be swinging in September?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely in the know. And I got to say, this photo he posted, I'll make sure it's in the video version.
It's scary, honestly.
I just love, okay, he says no more hints about hashtag Spider-Man 2. It was all a fever dream. Blame it on jet lag. Who knows? I might not even be hashtag Venom. And there's a lot to pull out of this picture of him in the pool. I mean, it's an indoor pool. It's got flames on the side. He's just kind of chilling out. Mm-hmm. There's I've been trying to use this term less because I think it's kind of lame, but this photo has a vibe. Absolutely. It's got a vibe to it. I don't know.
It scares me. Like, this is a really scary photo.
Like, I don't know exactly. There's like a shadow on his mouth in particular because it's underwater.
Yeah. What it is like it's the distortion that the water is causing to happen to his head. So he looks like he's got like this normal like brawny head, but then this really tiny baby's jaw.
It looks like a clown mouth.
It's very scary. Like, it's a really odd, and it's also darker than like because of the shadow. So it's like it's a really fucking ominous. I want to draw this like as is, like without the water, but just like taking like this image as is at face value because it's a horrifying image.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's fantastic. I'm so glad we were blessed with this image tied to all these news stories about this report. A lot of them have this image in it, which is just great. But yeah, I think that totally makes sense. I think when we were talking about predictions, I had leaned towards a little later in the year, but I think this still is definitely obviously within the realm of what we would expect. And I think the big thing now is just that it's going to be Starfield versus Spider-Man, the big showdown. If it's the same day, which is certainly possible, that would be really interesting. But either way, these games are going to be, I don't know, unfairly compared because they're not similar games at all, but because they are the two big competitors coming out in the same month, they will be compared. And so it'll be an interesting time. I'll be playing both of them, of course, but it'll be cool to see that level of heated competition.
Well, Sony will be talking about how many games they sold. Microsoft will be talking about how many people played Starfield, and then people will argue about which one matters more. I've heard the date bandied around of September 29th, which is a Friday. I think that date came from the release of some ancillary piece of gear or something. I don't know if that's indicative of the game's release date or not, but that is a Friday, and that is entirely possible. And I would argue that that's, you really have like September 1st, 8th, 15th, 22, and 29 if you want to do it on a Friday. I would assume it would be a Friday release. So we'll see. But we have a few questions or a couple of questions here from the audience about this because there's really not much more to say. I mean, Sony's obviously not going to confirm it. I am sure they were flipping out and freaking out about it. And I feel a little bit bad for them. I mean, not really, but I feel bad for them in the sense that they actually have been incredibly disciplined and nothing has leaked about this game, which is, they run a pretty tight ship over there at Insomniac, and they should be congratulated for that. So it's a little disappointing that just a flippant voice actor with experience that should probably know that things are different in this industry ruined it. But I totally believe this. I think obviously he knows, and I think it's literally as simple as him being told.
I think that the movie industry is too open about stuff they're going to do. And half the time you hear stuff that never ends up actually happening. It's like, oh, this guy attached to this script, this movie, could this movie be happening? Could this happen? I hate that shit. That's annoying. That's like noise to me. There's no excitement to me at this point when they're like, oh, this director is being attached to this film. Because I remember that I used to get really excited because that was always the story about BioShock. This person's writing a BioShock script. This person's writing this, and it's been like that for over a decade now that you hear about a BioShock movie. And this has happened countless other times with stuff too. And so I like the way things are revealed. I like even, dude, stuff like this. I know it's disappointing for Sony, but getting this little nugget from a voice actor about a potential release month is fun. This kind of level of speculation. It's fun to talk about. It's fun to, compare on how it's going to be and how that will fit in with everyone else's games and stuff like that. I much prefer the secrecy. Obviously, there are limits to this when things can get annoying and can cause some shaky confidence when you're too secretive. But I vastly would prefer this than knowing everything about what everyone is doing all of the time.
If they're really trying to compel people to upgrade in any real meaningful way, the best way to do it would be with a bundle. And the best bundle that I could imagine would be Spider-Man, the one that, I still can't, but like how many did the original? It was like 20 million, something like that.
I think they combined Miles and Spider-Man at some point. It's like close to 40 million at this point.
That's nuts. So like, yeah, it's a no-brainer if you're trying to push hardware, especially for people who either don't have a PS5 already, or for people who just like are into new stuff and they just want a new bit of kit. No-brainer. You bundle it with Spider-Man 2 with the PS5 Slim.